Hi my friends, welcome to the channel English Professionally, and this video course is called All English Grammar You Need in 30 Minutes. Really, we have little free time and I hope that we are ready to know the most important English grammar which you really need. Okay, so what do you need to know first of all? I suppose that first of all you need to know simple tenses, right? We call these tenses simple. What are these tenses? First of all, it's present simple, the most important tense. So we use it when we talk about the present. Secondly, it's past simple. We often use it when we talk about something in the past. And one more very important tense, which is called future simple. Okay? So I hope that you remember how you form this tense. Okay? Let me give you an example. Okay, and so we need to open the brackets. Okay, so it's really about all English grammar you really need. Let's say it in present simple first. Yeah, if we are talking, so you need to open the brackets. It's a very useful exercise indeed. So when you open the brackets, so let's say it in present simple first. Okay, and let's remember how we do it. So you know that we use verb or verb plus s. Okay, when do we use s? When it's he, she or it. So we have I and it will be the same. And we'll say I learn English very intensively. I learn English very intensively. Okay? So one more example, yeah, for more practice. You know that it's very important to have as much practice as possible. Okay, so she improve her skills. Okay, so improve, it's, you know, when it's getting better, when it's becoming better. Okay, let's say it in present simple. Yeah, first of all, yeah, you know, we are working with this tense. So we look at she and we see. So she, we need to add s. Please don't forget about this. Very simple, but at the same time very important rule. And we need to say, so she improves her skills. She improves her skills. Okay, very good. So let's look at the second tense, yeah? And we call this tense past simple. It's what you really need to know. So really open, you know, open the brackets and say it in past simple. How do we form this tense? You know that you need to use the second form. You need to use the second form. So the question is, so the verb is regular or irregular, maybe yes, maybe no. Really, what kind of verb is it? Regular or irregular? Who knows? So if I write or if I type, yeah, these forms, is it correct or not? Or maybe these forms, is it right or wrong? Who knows? So actually, so which actually, I mean, variant are you choosing? So really, what's your choice? In fact, you need to know that this verb can be regular and irregular, so it's correct, and it's also correct, so it's an exception. You know that there are lots of exceptions in English, and you just need to remember, yeah, so this verb can be regular or irregular, so you can say learned or learned, it's okay. And so let's try, yeah, to say it correctly in past simple. So I learned English very intensively. Good, very good. Or I learned, it's also possible. Yeah, so let's look at the second sentence. She improved her skills. So she, we need to use the second form. And you know that there is a very important rule for regular verbs. So you have ed at the end of this word, ed. So you see e, and so this verb is irregular, and you need to add d, and so you'll see she improved. She improved her skills. So this verb is regular, and as a rule, we have ed in all regular verbs. We see it. Okay, so very good. So we have looked at past simple. You see, so you need to focus on regular verbs, verb plus ed. So if this verb isn't regular or irregular verbs, so what do you need to do with them? You need to remember, or there is another very good verb, yeah, which has a similar meaning. It means memorize, yeah. So you need to memorize these verbs, or you need to remember these irregular verbs. And basically, so when actually we talk about past simple, you need to use the second form. Yeah, if actually it's about this verb, yeah, it's an exception. So this verb can be regular or irregular. So learned, or learned. It's correct too. Yeah, and so you see, I learn English very intensively, and she improved her skills. Okay, very good, my friends. Well done. And so let's look at future simple. This tense is also of great importance, and let's try, to form these sentences in future simple. You know the rule. So will plus verb, yeah, for he, she, it, for everything. Okay, so let's say it. I will learn, right? So we put will before a verb. So learn is a verb, and we put will. So I will learn English very intensively. I will learn English very intensively. And let's look at the second sentence. Yeah. So she will improve her skills. She will improve her skills. So will plus verb. You know that if we look at the reality, so in practice we often use short form, so it's okay if you say I'll learn, yeah, I'll learn English very intensively, or she'll, it's okay. So these things are very common, yeah, among native speakers of English. Okay, very good. Right, you see it, will plus verb. So I will learn English very intensively. She will improve her skills. Very good. And so you may think that you know everything about these tenses, so present simple, past simple, and future simple, because it's very, very clear for you, or as you know, as they say, crystal clear, yeah. But in fact, it isn't. So there is another situation which you also need to take into account. So it's present simple, yeah, but it's the first situation, past simple the first situation, and future simple the first situation. So it's very important to know the second situation. Okay, let's have a look, yeah, let's have a look at what actually we are talking about, or at what we mean. Yeah, so there is the second situation, and you have two sentences again, yeah. So let's look at these sentences. So busy, and when I ask students, or when someone asks students, so how do we form present simple, so we often hear only this version, so verb or verb plus s. But in fact, it can be another structure, or it can be another combination of words. Look at this situation, for example. The problem is that if you look at these simple tenses, the first situation, so you have a verb, yeah, in all these examples, yes. And if you look at this situation, so you don't have a verb, it's the second very big situation. You don't have a verb. So you know that busy isn't a verb. So busy, busy isn't a verb. It's an adjective. It isn't a verb. And how will you say it? And you need to know that if we are talking about present simple, you need to use the form of to be. So am, is, or are. So, and you also know that we say I am, he, she, it is, and we say we, you, they are. And if we look at this sentence, yeah, so he busy, so you need to do the same. So the task is the same. You need to open the brackets and say it in all these tenses. So it's a very important thing. Okay, so and we look at he, yeah, we look at he, so we say he is, and as a result you see he is busy. Okay, one more important thing, and so I think it's better, to have more practice, and you'll support my idea if we add, one more sentence for practice. Yeah, the more practice, the better. So I satisfied with my result. Okay, so what part of speech is it? Satisfied. Okay, so you know that if it's ed, it doesn't mean that it's a verb, it's an adjective. So satisfied is an adjective in English. You don't have a verb. Yeah, you don't have a verb here, yeah, again, and you need to use the form of to be. And you will say I am satisfied. I am satisfied with my result. I am satisfied with my result. So it can be a full form, he is busy, but you know that in reality we often hear a short form. So he's busy. Look, or listen, he is busy and he's busy. So compare. I am satisfied with my result and I'm satisfied with my result, yeah? So you need to know it, yeah? Okay, very good, my friend. And let's do the same with past simple. So it's the most important grammar. So let's do the same with past simple. Let's open the brackets. So you know that if we look at the first situation, yeah, actually you see that you need to use the second form here, and there is only one variant, or there is only one option, yeah? So, and you need to remember it for I, he, she, it, but if it's about the verb to be, it's another story. You need to understand that if it's about the verb to be, yeah, so you need to use was or were. And so the question is, when do we use was and when do we use were? Okay, when I was, what else? He was, she was, it was. We were, you were, they were. Okay, and you see, he busy, so I, he, she, it was, and we'll say he was or were. He was busy. He was busy. Really, it's very, very important. Yeah, and so the second example, so we can't ignore it. We can't ignore it. So it's for more practice, for more progress, yeah, as you might guess. So I satisfied with my result. So we need the form of to be. I, he, she, it was. So we say was. I was satisfied with my result. I was satisfied with my result. So you see, it's about past simple, and so if we don't have a verb, so we have to be, we use was or were. So I, he, she, it was, we, you, they were. And so you see, he was busy. I was satisfied with my result. Very good. So what about future simple with the verb to be? So what about it? Okay, so actually the rule is the same. So if you remember, yeah, of this thing, yeah, so future simple will plus verb. So we have absolutely the same rule. So if we have to be, so absolutely the same, because the verb is to be. Okay, let's say it, or let's try to say it. He will and verb. So the verb is to be. He will be busy. He will be busy. I, so you need will plus be. So will plus be. In other words, so it's will plus verb or will be. Will be. I will be satisfied. I will be satisfied with my result. I'll be satisfied with my result, yeah? So you know that you can also use short forms, no problem. So he'll be busy, or I'll be satisfied with my result. Okay, my friends, so this information is extremely important. So the problem is that most students know only about the first situation, and they don't understand that the second situation also exists. Okay, and we don't have only theory, we have practice, and it's really very important, yeah? My friends, it's the first very important part, so you need to know simple tenses, yeah? But much more than simple tenses, you also need to know modal verbs. Modal verbs. What I'm talking about? I'm talking about the following, that you need to know can, could, should, must. Must, yeah? You need to know these things, yeah, first of all. Okay, so, for example, you can say, I can speak English. Is it correct or not? So let's try to open the brackets, yeah? So she can sing professionally, or she can sing very beautifully. Okay, let's try to open the brackets. So the rule is, so it doesn't matter what it is, can, could, should, or must, yeah? So you add a verb without to, yeah? So if you want to open the brackets, yeah, it will be the same. So I can speak English. I can speak English. She can sing very beautifully. Yeah, so can plus verb. What other things do you need to know? Would plus verb. Yeah, and you also need to remember need. So if you have need, we use to. Need to plus verb. And have to plus verb. Yeah, please remember it. And there are two very important modal verbs. Yeah, so may and might. Please also remember it. Okay, so I think that it's time to do one very important exercise. Okay, let's do the following. So you have a sentence, this sentence. Do it right now. So I think that if you really want to understand this information, you need to have practice. If you don't have practice, I think it's impossible to learn it. And let's, try to say this sentence with all modal verbs, yeah, which you know, okay? So I think really this exercise is extremely important. Maybe just we'll need more space. I mean that, so you also need to keep in mind this information, yeah? And let's try to say it. So in fact, you can choose any sentence and actually form different sentences with all these modal verbs, yeah? So it's very, very important. Well, so let's try to say it. So I can do it right now. Well done. Let's say it with could. I could do it right now. Well done. Let's say it with should. I should do it right now. What about must? I must do it right now. What about would? I would do it. I would do it right now. It means that it's possible. It's possible for me, and it's possible for me to do it. I would do it. May. I may do it right now. It means maybe I'll do it. Or you can use might. You know that we often hear me, may, or might. So I might do it right now. And two more very important verbs, need. So you need to say it with need and have to. The problem is that many students forget about to, but please don't do it, yeah? So I need to do it. I need to do it right now, and I have to do it right now. Have to do it right now, okay? So this information is very important, my friends. So you can, choose a certain sentence and do the same with all these modal verbs. So this exercise is extremely useful. So you can choose, you can find a sentence. It can be a simple sentence or a more difficult sentence. So when you have a verb, yeah, please do the same exercise. It's better to choose minimum, two sentences, and the second situation when you don't have a verb. So, and if we're talking about modal verbs, yeah, so you need to do absolutely the same. You need to do absolutely the same. Right, and so the more practice the better. Okay, what else do you need to know? Yeah, so you also need to know about present continuous. So this thing is extremely important. Yeah, we can't ignore it. Okay, so it's for present, but for present which is happening now. Okay, for example, just let's open the brackets. And how will you say it in present continuous? Yeah, to say it, you need, to remember how we form this tense. So am is are plus verb plus ing. And you'll say, I am listening to you. So it means that it's now at the moment. Yeah, I am listening to you. But you know that in reality, so we mostly use short forms. And I believe that it's more natural to say I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you. Okay, one more example. Okay, so she stay there. Let's say it in present continuous. So she, he, she, it is. I am, we, you, they are. So and you actually say she is staying. She is staying there. Okay, it's about present continuous. Okay, what else? So present continuous is for present which is now. Am is are plus verb plus ing. So, and you see these examples. I'm listening to you, I'm listening, or I'm listening to you. It's a short form. And she is staying there, or it can be full form. She is staying there. Okay, next, you also need to be actually familiar with passive voice. Passive voice, what is it? Passive voice. Okay, let me give you an example. So please open the brackets. Yeah, so you need to open the brackets. You use passive voice. It's when it's done by someone. When it's done by someone or something. When it's done by someone or something. And so we mostly meet passive voice present simple. Passive voice present simple. So okay, do you know how to say it? So you need the form of to be. Am is are plus the third form. Plus the third form. Okay, or yeah, or it can be, it's better actually to have this thing in brackets. So it, if it's it, we see it is, and the third form of make, you know that, so make, this verb is irregular. So make, made, made, we need it. So it is made in China. It's made in China. Or for example, yeah, one more example. So it, so produce in Italy. Okay, so how will you say it? So the same thing. So it is, and the third form of produce. This verb is regular. So you know, if this verb is regular, so you have produced and produce. It's the same. The second form is the same as the third form. Yeah, and so you'll actually say it is produced in Italy. Okay, very good, my friends. So passive voice. So when it's done by someone or something, yeah, passive voice present simple. So am is are plus the third form. And you see that make is an irregular verb. So you say, yeah, and in contrast to produce, which is actually irregular. Yeah, this verb is regular. It is made in China and it is produced in Italy. Yeah, my friends, and one more very important thing. Right, there is also a rule of two verbs. A rule of two verbs. What is it? So is it correct or not? So to say it. So he wants tell you this thing. So is it correct or not? So in fact, it isn't correct, because you know we often actually have this structure verb plus to plus verb. So you need to put to between two verbs. Yeah, he wants to actually tell you this thing. Yeah, please, keep in mind this structure too. Thank you. Hi my friends, welcome to the channel English Professionally, and this video is extremely important. So it's called All Intermediate English Grammar Unit in 30 minutes. Really, actually this video course contains the most important information you really need to know. Okay, so when it comes to intermediate grammar, so what do you need to know? So I'm sure that you need to know tenses pretty well, but what kind of tenses? So it's about this. So you need to know, I believe, that present perfect continuous, yeah? So if you are at this level, you need to know present perfect continuous. So you need to know perfectly past continuous, so it goes without saying, and past perfect, past perfect. Yeah, so if we look at past continuous and present perfect, so it's a must, so definitely you need to know it. Yeah, and these two tenses, I mean present perfect continuous and past perfect, they are a little bit more difficult. Okay, and I have a question for you. So let's revise everything, but we're going to do it very shortly, yeah, but effectively at the same time. For example, you need to open the brackets. Okay, so I learn English. I learn English for 3 years. Okay, how will you say it? How will you open the brackets? So the task is the following. So you need to open the brackets. How will you say it? Okay. So I know that many students say it incorrectly, and they just, say I learned English for 3 years, but it's wrong. And let me give you one more example, yeah? So how long? So think about it, yeah? How will you open the brackets here? So, yeah? And so we meet the same story again. So I often hear, so how long do you learn English? But it's totally wrong, it's incorrect, you can't say it. And to say it correctly, you need to know such a tense or such an English tense as what? As present perfect, but not present perfect. Present perfect continuous, it's very important. We use it in our speech really often, okay? And we use it with for actions which started some time ago and which are still happening. I think that this structure is familiar to you. So have a has plus been plus what? Plus verb plus ing. And so, yeah, you know this information. How will you say it correctly? Yeah, how will you open the brackets correctly? Okay, please think about it. So really, this information is of great importance. So otherwise, you'll continue making mistakes. So so you know this rule, and you say I. So then you need to use this rule, have or has. So I have been learning English. I have been learning English for 3 years, only this way. And we use it with for, yeah, it's correct. And we also use it with how long, yeah, it's also true. So please remember that we use this tense with for and how long for actions which started some time ago and which are still happening. Okay, and you will ask, how long? So it's a question, have you been, how long have you been learning English? How long have you been learning English? Okay? And so your possible answer can be for 4 years, for 3 years, and so on. It's important, okay? So first of all, you need to know tenses. Such tenses as present perfect continuous, yeah, past continuous, present perfect, and past perfect, yeah. And you need to open the brackets, yeah, and so you'll use present perfect continuous. We use it with for, and the structure of this tense is the following. So have a has plus been plus verb plus ing. So you see, I have been learning English for 3 years. How long have you been learning English? Yeah, I can give you one more example. So I have been recording. Yeah, just one more example. I've been recording this video. I've been recording this video for about maybe 7 minutes. For about 7 minutes, or you can say it. I've been watching this video. I've been watching this video for about 7 minutes. So the thing is that in reality, so we mostly use contractions, or we also call them short forms, contractions. So I've been instead of I have been. I've been recording this video for about 10 minutes, or I've been watching this video for about 7 minutes, or we can say it another way. I've been watching your channel for a couple of months or several months, yeah, something like that. So I've been watching your channel. I've been watching your channel for 3 months, or for half a year, or something like that. So the thing is that that if you start using this tense, yeah, so one thing is when you know how to use it, how to form this tense, and the other thing, the second thing is when you really use it in your English conversation, and it's much better. So start using this tense, yeah, and actually your speech will sound more advanced, that's for sure. Okay, so present perfect continuous, that's pretty easy. Okay, so next. So what about the next very important tense? So this tense is called past perfect. Past perfect, yeah. Actually, there is nothing difficult about this tense. So it's one time before. It's one time before. For example, you need to open the bracket. So the exercise is quite simple. It's the same. So he said, he. Okay, and you need to open the brackets. He said. Okay, I think this word will actually help us to answer it correctly. So the thing is that you have two actions in the past, yeah? You see he said and he be. So, but if you look at the second action, so you see that it's earlier, or you can say earlier or before. The fact is that when there are two actions in the past and one action, so happened earlier, yeah? But it isn't the first action, it's the second action. So we need to use past perfect. So it's one time before. So had plus the third form. Had plus the third form. Okay, so you see. So first he was there. First he was there. Or firstly, you can say first, or firstly, it's okay, so we often meet first, firstly, second, or secondly, and secondly, he said it. So you see, yeah, you see it. Okay, so you see, yeah, firstly he was there, and secondly he said it. So it's okay, yes, but if we look at our sentence, so the situation is different. So we see that the second action happened earlier, so we need to use past perfect. Yeah, please remember it. Yeah. Okay, one more example. Yeah, just for more practice. Okay, I think that you don't mind. Okay, so she said she already improved it. Okay, you need to open the brackets here. Okay, so how will you say it? You know that this word already tells us that it happened earlier. So you know that we use already with present perfect, or if we have this word already, we need to use present perfect or past perfect, yeah, but it's one time before, so we need to say it in past perfect. Let's do it. So she said, she, so we put already in the middle, so she had already improved it. She said she had already improved it. Okay, well done, well done. So past perfect, let's revise it, yeah, just shortly. So past perfect, it's one time before, had plus the third form. So he said he had been there earlier, yeah. So you need to use what? He said he had, and the third form of to be, you know that it's be, was or were, plus what? Plus been, okay? So I hope that's clear. And as a result, so you see, he said he had been. He had been there earlier, okay? Good. Very good. He said he had been there earlier. So, okay, and she said she already improved it. So she said she had already improved it. So it's because of already. Well, so first of all, you need to know present perfect continuous and past perfect, yeah? Next, so I believe that if we remember these tenses, present perfect and past continuous, so these tenses actually are not for this level, I mean intermediate. So I believe that it's okay, this level, so pre-intermediate, so it's between pre-intermediate and intermediate. But anyway, so the difference is that elementary and pre-intermediate students so know something about this tense, they know something about the formation of the tense, but you know, intermediate students, they actually use these tenses very actively, so in their speaking, in their writing, and so it's another stage, or it's another step. Yeah, just let's revise it shortly. Yeah, so you know that we use present perfect with such words as already, so never, ever, yet, okay, good, and just, already just. So if we look at ever, we use it in questions, and if we look at yet, we use it in negative sentences. Okay, so but anyway, so the thing is that it's about the connection with the present. Yes, so just let's try to say it. Okay, so how will you open the brackets? Yeah, and you know that we form it this way. So have, has plus the third form. Okay? It means not a long time ago. Just, yeah, means not a long time ago. I have, we put just in the middle. I have just, and the third form of call. So this verb is regular. So we have ed in the second form, and we have ed in the third form. Okay, so I have just called you. I have just called you. Very well. Okay. Next. So she already arrived. How will you say it? So you see that you look at these words. So how do we call these words? So students often ask me, so how can we call these words? Okay, actually there are different names. So the most common are time markers, or time expressions. Yeah, so we usually call them time markers or time expressions, and so this word just tells us that we need to use this tense, present perfect, I mean. Okay, and already, so it's the same story actually. So she has already, he, she, and so this third form of arrive. So we see that this verb is regular again, and so we have ed at the end of this actually word, yeah, in the second form, and so we see the same in the third form. Okay, so she has already arrived. She has already arrived. Okay, good. So you see, so let's revise it. So yeah, it's about this level, pre-intermediate, intermediate level. Okay, but I mean that, as I have already said, yeah, just yeah, listen to it again. As I have already said, so I'm using present perfect because of already. So as I already said, so yeah, elementary and pre-intermediate students so mostly know something about it, whereas intermediate students and upper intermediate students, so they use it very actively in their speech, and that's the difference. Okay, so I'll try to be short, or I'll try to be brief. So let's look at this tense past continuous. So we know that we use it for long actions in the past, and so we often use it with when. So let me give you an example. Okay, so when she, so you need to open the brackets. So I learn English. So just think, you know, so you have two actions. So which action is long and which action is short? So if it's a long action, so you need to use past continuous, okay? So if it's a short action, so you need to use so past simple. Okay, think about it. So when she called me, I learn English. So it's a short action. So you need to use past continuous or the second form. So when she called me, I was. Why was? Because we form past continuous this way. Was or were plus verb plus ing. Okay? So when she called me, I was learning English. When she called me, I was learning English. So it's a long action. It's a long action in the past, you see. So and normally, yeah, we use it. So in sentences like this one with when, yeah, it's okay. Okay, good. So past continuous is for long actions in the past. So was a verb plus ing. So long action. If it's a long action, we need past continuous. If it's a short action, we need past simple. Yeah, and you see this example. When she called me, I was learning English. Okay, well done. But you know that this level, I mean intermediate level, isn't only about tenses. It's about, you know, some advanced grammar structure. So you need to know more advanced grammar structures, more advanced grammar. Oh, sorry, I'm terribly sorry. More advanced grammar structures. I mean that you need to know the second conditional, so it's a must, conditional, as well as so the third conditional. So not only these things, but definitely you need to know it. Okay, let me give you an example. So if I, and you need to open the brackets. So just $2 million. So if I have $2 million, I so buy a small island, for example, a small island. Okay, so you need to open the brackets. Yeah, so the task is the same. Okay, please open the brackets. Okay, my friends. So first of all, you need to understand, so is it possible or not? So just, you know, you are saying it. Okay, I'm saying it. Okay, just just I need to understand. So I have this money or not? So I don't have this money. It's too much. It's too much for me. You know, I'm just an English teacher, okay? And so I don't have this money. I don't have $2 million. Yeah, it's a lot. Okay, and you see, so it's unreal. So the thing is that it's unreal. So it's about the present, but it's unreal. It's about the present and it's unreal, so it isn't possible. And if it isn't possible, we call this thing, yeah, or we call this structure the second conditional. And we use, so if plus past simple, we use in the first part, and we use would or could plus verb in the second part. So we need to use past, you know, we need to use past simple. But there is one very important thing. So if it's about the verb to be, I just don't know why, but most students don't know this very important fact. So you know that, so we often say I, he, she, it was, we, you, they, were. But if it's about, look, conditionals, so if I, we, you, they, he, she, it, so we use were. So we'll understand in the second example. Meanwhile, so let's just open the brackets in this sentence, okay? So you see, if I, so we need to say it in past simple. If I had $2 million, if I had $2 million, so you need to use this structure. So would plus verb or could plus verb. So you can say I would buy or I could buy a small island. We mostly use buy, but could is also possible. I would buy a small island. Okay? So if I had $2 million, I would buy a small island. So past simple here and would or could plus verb. Yeah, this information is extremely important. Yeah, and you see, so actually we mentioned it, and it's also worth mentioning, so I'm pretty sure about that. So just, you know, I'm going to give you one more very important example. So if I, so you, so you need, I do the same. Okay. How will you open the brackets here? Think about it. So if I, you, but I'm not you, I'm another person, so it's unreal. So it's about the present unreal. Okay, let's revise it shortly and just we'll open the brackets here. Okay, so more advanced grammar structures. So the second conditional and the third conditional. So yeah, we need to open the brackets. So if it's about the second conditional, yeah, it means present unreal. And so the structure is the following. So if plus past simple, would or could plus verb. Look, if I had $2 million, I would buy a small island. Yeah, and you see, so you need to open the brackets here. So actually, you know that we mostly use were, yeah? So was is also possible, but it sounds more formal. So, and you'll say, if I were you, and then we need to use what? Let's look at this rule, would or could plus verb. So would plus verb. So I would do the same. Okay, very good. So what's about the second conditional? So let's just try to open the brackets. So if he tell me this thing yesterday, so we earn more money. Okay, so these both actions, yeah, are about the past, and you know that. So we use the third conditional if it's unreal about the past. So it means that In fact, so he didn't tell me this thing yesterday, and we didn't earn more money. And how will you say it? Think about it. So you need to know the structure, yeah? So if plus had plus the third form, yeah, and so would or could, yeah, like in the second conditional, plus have plus the third form. Please remember this structure. It's extremely important, so definitely you need to know it for intermediate level and upper intermediate level as well. Okay, so let's try to say it using the third conditional. So if he had plus the third form, if he had told me this thing, okay, yesterday, we, so then how will you say it? We would have earned, more money. Very good. So if he had told me this thing yesterday, so we would have earned more money, but in fact he didn't tell me this thing, and we didn't earn more money. Okay, what else do you need to know? Well, it's about modal verbs in the past. It's a very important thing. So modal verbs in the past. Okay? So if it's about, you know, should, so what else? So could, must, may. So what other modal verbs can you remember? May, might, and also ought to. So you know that so should means the same as ought to, but the thing is that actually we use, you know, should more often. So if you want to say it in the past, so, and it doesn't matter, okay, what it is, so how will you say it? Yeah, just, you know, you have this sentence: you follow his advice yesterday. Please open the brackets and you know, and try to say it using so as many modal verbs as you know. So, and so to be more exact, so you can use these modal verbs. Yeah, so let's, yeah. So you know that most students say it incorrectly, and they say, so you should follow his advice yesterday, right? But we can't say it. Yeah, you need to use another structure, and the structure is the following. So have plus the third form. Please remember it. So you need to say you should have, yeah, only this thing. Yeah, you should have followed, yeah, the third form, his advice yesterday. Okay, or you ought to. So you ought to have followed. You ought to have followed his advice yesterday. Or you could have followed. So if I mean that in fact you didn't follow it. So I mean just it could be a good thing. Yeah. So you could have followed. Yeah. So you must have followed. So I really think that you followed his advice, or maybe you followed. So if it's about maybe you followed, so you say you may or you might have followed. Yeah, you might have followed his advice yesterday. Okay, it's a very important thing. So if you are talking about modal verbs in the past, yeah, you need to know, yeah, this structure. So we use it with the third form. Yeah, so you should have followed his advice yesterday. You ought to have followed. You could have followed. It means that it's really a good idea for you, but in fact you didn't do it, yeah? Because, could plus verb can have another meaning. And, you must have followed. It means that I really think you followed, because, a must can be had to in the past, but it's about, another meaning. And you may or might have followed. Okay, my friends, thank you very much. I really believe that it's the most actually important information you need to know for this level, and I hope that you support this idea and will go ahead. Yeah, thank you. Hi my friends, welcome to the channel English Professionally, and this video course isn't for beginners. So it's called Upper Intermediate and Advanced English Grammar for Speaking. So first of all, it's for advanced students, yeah? I think that's great, and I believe that if you want to have an advanced level in English, you need to know advanced grammar structures. This video contains them, and you can start using them in your speech. It will improve your speaking enormously, or greatly, or significantly. Okay, really, let's have a look at these structures, which you should know if you're really serious about having this level, I mean advanced level. So I think that actually a lot about modal verbs, yeah? But actually this subject is a little bit more difficult, so it's modal verbs passive. So what is it? For example, yeah, it can be discussed tomorrow. It can be discussed tomorrow. So how do we form it? So can be plus the third form. Can be plus the third form, or can be plus done. So it can be actually a different form. You see, it can be discussed tomorrow. So it means that someone can discuss it tomorrow. Someone can discuss it tomorrow, okay? One more example. These mistakes should be corrected. These mistakes should be corrected. So it means that someone should correct these mistakes. So should be corrected, should be plus the third form or plus done. Okay, could be. For example, yeah, I think that, or you think that my speaking can be improved. My speaking can be improved. Can be improved. Yeah, or I can also say could be improved, yeah, it's okay. So can be improved or could be improved. So it means that really it can become better, for example, with the help of this channel. With the help of this channel. Okay, so you see, let's revise it. So modal verbs passive can be plus done, or plus the third form. It can be discussed tomorrow. Should be plus done. These mistakes should be corrected. Could be plus done. My speaking could be improved with the help of this channel. Yeah, what other modal verbs can you remember? So modal verbs passive must be. So these things must be considered. So these things must be considered. It means that someone must consider these things. Okay, so this flat has to be repaired. This flat has to be repaired. So it's the same story that someone has to repair this flat, or it has to be done. For example, it has to be done. So someone has to do it,
or you know that this structure has a similar meaning, so need to be. So it needs to be said. It needs to be said. It needs to be said, or it needs to be mentioned. It needs to be mentioned. Okay, so you see modal verbs passive. Must be. These things must be considered. Have to be. This flat has to be repaired. It has to be done. Need to be. It needs to be said. It needs to be mentioned. And so maybe and might be. Okay, so it might be changed, or it may be changed. It may be changed. It means that maybe someone will change it, or someone may change it. Might be. Okay, so it might be forbidden. It might be forbidden. So you know that you can use may or might. So it might be forbidden means that maybe it will be forbidden, or it might actually, someone might actually forbid it, yeah, for some reason. Maybe. So it may be changed. Might be. So it might be forbidden. Okay, so you know it's very important thing, yeah, really. And I think that actually it has to be mentioned. These things have to be mentioned. Yeah, so these things have to be mentioned. So it's the same situation. So these things means they, and we say have. So these things have to be mentioned or learned. Yeah. Okay, very good, my friends. So modal verbs passive, you know, but there is one more difficult thing, yeah. So modal verbs in the past passive. So it's passive, but I mean when it isn't about the present, when it isn't about the future. So when it's about the past. For example, yeah, let's actually say something like that. It should have been considered. Right. If you remember, yeah, if you remember that if you want to say, you know, these modal verbs in the past, I mean should or could, you use should have, could have, yeah. So if it's passive voice, you use should have been, and then you need the third form. Okay, let's write it this way. Should have been done. So it should have been considered. Okay, so good. So for example, so it could have been avoided. It could have been avoided. It could have been avoided. So could have been done. It could have been avoided. Okay, so their wishes must have been ignored. Their wishes must have been ignored. So you see, must have been done. Must have been done. It means that I really think so, yeah, that actually someone ignored their wishes. But we use these structures. I mean, so we were talking about modal verbs in the past, passive, should have been done, it should have been considered, could have been done, it could have been avoided, must have been done. Their wishes must have been ignored. Next, so modal verbs in the past with may and might, passive. So it may have been noticed. it may have been noticed. So may have been done. It means that someone may have noticed it, or you know that I think that I mean, you see that you can say it may have been noticed. Maybe it sounds a little bit awkward. Awkward means unusual, strange, or weird, yeah? But in fact, yeah, that's it. So sometimes you can come across, you know, these structures, and so I think that if you're an advanced student, or if you're going to have this level, you need to know it. So it may have been noticed, or so maybe someone noticed it, or someone may have noticed it, or might. Okay, so she might have been seen yesterday. Okay, so she might have been seen yesterday. She might have been seen yesterday. So it's the same story. So it means that maybe someone saw her yesterday, or maybe, or actually someone may have seen, yeah, may have seen her yesterday. So might have been done. Okay, very important structures. So may have been done, it may have been noticed, and might have been done. So you see, she might have been seen yesterday. Okay, so the next, so grammar part, yeah, for advanced students is about strong adjectives. For example, just there is one very common mistakes which lots of students make. For example, so if someone doesn't like something, he may say, it's very terrible, or it's very amazing, But the thing is that we can't say it this way, we can't say it. You need to know that if we look at English adjectives, so they can be so weak or normal, and strong adjectives. And you know that, so terrible and amazing are strong adjectives. So the thing is that if it's a weak or normal adjective, for example, good, good, you can put very before it, so you can say very good, so very bad, or for example very tight. But there are strong adjectives, yeah. For example, yeah, terrible, it's a strong adjective, and if so, you need to put absolutely before it. So absolutely plus, for example, absolutely terrible, and so on. So you can say it only this way, so it's terrible. If you want to make it sound stronger, you can say it's absolutely terrible, or it's amazing. You can say it's really amazing, it's really terrible, or it's absolutely amazing, Okay, for example, yeah, one more example with the word tight. You know that, or I can guess that you have lots of work, yeah, and you can say, I'm tight, yeah. What else can you say? I'm very tight, yeah, it's okay, I'm very tight, or I'm really tight, but you know that tight isn't a strong adjective. So there is a strong adjective, yeah, which actually is stronger than tight. And what word, yeah, am I talking about, or what word is it? So it's exhausted. So you can say I'm exhausted. So if you say I'm exhausted, it means I'm very tight, and it's a strong adjective again. So if you want actually to strengthen your point, yeah, or if you want to emphasize something, or if you want to focus more attention on it. So you can say, so I'm really exhausted. Oh, I'm really exhausted. I'm really exhausted. Yeah, it's okay if you say it. Nevertheless, my friend, nevertheless. So if you want to make it sound really strong, so you need to use this word absolutely. So I'm absolutely exhausted. It means that I'm really so tired. I'm absolutely exhausted. I'm absolutely exhausted. Okay? Yeah, and just you need to know this difference. Okay, if you want actually to speak English not only naturally, spontaneously, confidently, correctly, yeah, so you also need actually to enrich your speech, I mean, with beautiful and natural structures. So absolutely, don't say only so it's good, it's very good. Okay, it's fantastic, it's absolutely fantastic, or it's magnificent, it's absolutely magnificent, it's fascinating, it's absolutely fascinating, or and so on. So you can say, oh, what a brilliant idea, or it's a brilliant idea, or it's an absolutely brilliant idea. Okay, just compare these two things, these two levels. So just actually you hear, yeah, one student and he's saying, oh, it's a good idea, it's a very good idea, and you can also hear the second student and he actually is saying, it's a brilliant idea, it's an absolutely brilliant idea. Just you see the difference between these levels. And if you want actually to sound more advanced, you also need to use strong adjectives and absolutely with them. Okay, let's revise it. So we're going to talk about strong adjectives. So if we look at adjectives in English, they can be weak or normal. For example, very good, very bad, tight, and we put very before them. And so they can be strong. We put absolutely before them. For example, absolutely terrible. Okay, let's look at more examples. It's absolutely terrible. It's absolutely amazing. I'm tight. I'm very tight. I'm really tight. I'm exhausted. I'm really exhausted. I'm absolutely exhausted. Yeah, and so we can't leave these subjects unnoticed. Yeah, I'm talking about inversion. So just I have a small question for you. Yeah, so is it correct or not if I say, so I do think so. I do think so. Is it correct or not? You know that we use do in questions, yeah, do you think so? And we can use it in negative sentences, yeah? We can use do not, so I do not think so, or I don't think so. But if you look at this sentence, it's another story. So you see do in a statement. So in other words, so it isn't a question, yeah, it isn't a negative sentence. So nevertheless, we put do before a verb, yeah? I do think so. So the thing is that you can do it. So do means really. Do means really. So you put do or does plus verb and it means really. For example, I do want to change my life. I do want to change my life. I do want to change my life, or I really want to change my life. Yeah, I do want to learn English. I do want to know English. Or maybe you want to say, I do want to thank you. For example, yeah, one more example. These lessons do help me. These lessons do help me. It means these lessons really help me. Yeah, so we often use inversion. Look, I do think so, it means I really think so. Do or does plus verb, yeah? So do or does, actually it means really. I do want to change my life. I do want to know English. I do want to thank you. And the lessons do help me. Or I can say, for example, it matters a lot. it matters a lot, or it does matter a lot. It does matter a lot. It does matter a lot. So it means it's really important. It does matter. So we can't close our eyes on it. We can't ignore it. It does matter. Okay, and so more advanced structures with inversion. So not only, but also. So for example, not only. So if it's without an inversion, so we can hear not only this channel is for beginners, but it's also for intermediate and advanced students. Yeah, but the thing is that the rule is that we put inversion after not only, so we need the order. I mean, so you have a subject and an auxiliary verb, and so we change them. So we need to say the opposite thing. So not only is this channel, so you put it before. So not only is this channel for beginners, but it's also for intermediate and advanced students. For example, not only. So if it's without inversion, so you can hear he is a nice person, but you know the rule is that you need to use inversion here, and so you need to put is before it. Not only is he a nice person, but he is a very professional teacher. But he is a very professional teacher. Not only is he a nice person, but he is a very professional teacher. One more example, maybe more difficult. Not only, so let's say it without inversion first, because it's really difficult. Not only it helps me, but it's also useful. But it's also useful for millions of students. Yeah, it's more difficult. So you need to put inversion. So we had the verb to be, and it was easy. So we just actually put is before that word. So, and if you look at this example, try to say it by yourself first of all. So not only, so you need to use do or does. So if you have a verb in present simple, so you need to use do or does. So not only does it help me, but it's also useful for millions of students, or but it also helps millions of students. Okay, so not only but also. Not only is this channel for beginners, but it's also for intermediate and advanced students. Not only is he a nice person, but he's a very professional teacher. Not only does it help me, but it's also useful for millions of students. And two more advanced structures with inversion: no sooner and hardly had. Okay, do you know the structures? I hope so. So no sooner had someone done something than something happened. For example, no sooner, then you have to use had I, then you need to use the third form, come home, then she called me. So it's past simple. It means that, so I came home and then she called me. So it happened almost immediately. Or you can say a similar structure. So hardly had, it's almost the same. So hardly had someone done something. The only difference is that you use when instead of then. So use then with no sooner, but when with hardly, when something happened. So hardly had someone done something when something happened. So you see, for example, hardly had I left home. Hardly had I left home when he arrived. It means that I left home and then he arrived. He did it almost immediately. Yeah. So you see that we use past perfect, yeah, in the first part and past simple in the second part of the sentence. Okay, please remember, no sooner had someone done something than something happened. No sooner had I come home then, yeah, please, thanks for your correction. So then she called me. And please remember that we use then with no sooner. Hardly had someone done something when something happened. So my friend, so we use when with hardly had. So hardly had I left home when he arrived. Okay, to sum up, so this information is extremely important. So it's for upper intermediate and advanced level. So actually it's mostly for advanced students. So, and in fact, really, you need to start using it in your speech. I mean, these structures, so modal verb passive, in the present, in the future, and in the past as well. It's also very important. Please keep in mind, I mean, strong adjectives, yeah? Just let's speak English beautifully and naturally. Yeah, and so if you start using an inversion in your speech, definitely it'll be a huge advantage. Actually, I mean that, so if, for example, I know that a certain student, yeah, uses this kind of structure in his or her speech, I think, oh, his English grammar is really so high. Yeah, you just need to start using these advanced structures, and really, it'll be good for your speaking, and actually, it will sound really more advanced. Okay, my friends, thank you very much, and I really hope that it was a great job. Thank you.